So in your 228 folder, you're going to create a lesson 2 folder, and you're going to do a new PHP file, and you'll call it simplemath.php. You need at least 2 numeric variables, and you can use the rand function. Almost every language has a rand function. And so it'll retrieve random numbers. And if you just code in rand like this, you can get some super huge numbers, massive, large. But if you want to kind of give it a minimum and a maximum, then this would be how you code it. You put the minimum number here and the maximum here, and it will retrieve a random number. Okay. By default, you're going to get integers. So if you want numbers with decimal places, you basically just have to divide by an odd number that's going to give you a decimal place. Like divide rand by 0.33 or 0.55. That's going to result in a decimal. Okay. So you are going to retrieve different random numbers before each of the following math operations. So you're going to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. And for division, you want to make sure that you're not dividing by 0. So you definitely are going to want to set the minimum and the maximum, because we get errors when we divide by 0. Okay, so you don't want it randomly retrieving a 0. And this is actually going to be easiest for you guys if you retrieve the 2 random numbers and then you calculate a result. Okay, put the result in a variable. And I do have a little example for you. Oh, I thought I had one. Well, I will have to. Oh, yeah, I know where it is. I'll have to fix this. Okay, so here's the little example. And you'll notice if I refresh how it's grabbing different numbers, that.
Every time you refresh, does each separate rand number, like if you, how do I put this? So if you put you got 2 rand numbers and you put them into a variable, and then they'll stay the same for every single time that you call that variable, or will they be a random number?
Nope. Well, it depends on how you code it up. With this, I've coded it so that every time it gets different random numbers. That's why it's changing. Yeah.
Every time you just hit refresh, it's going to be random.
Yep. Yep. And I'll fix that so you guys can have direct access to that. For this, we are going to use Bootstrap for card columns, and you're going to be using Bootstrap for colors. So I have this little example for you to look at that I will fix the link on. But you all know it's server-side code, so you don't get to see the code, right? You only are going to see the results. So to help you guys out, this is the code. Okay. So this is the part that you guys don't get to see. Okay, the other stuff, the Bootstrap stuff, you guys can see when you right click. Okay, this is the part you can't. So when we look at the source, this is how the source displays. So section is displaying, the div class is displaying, this is displaying, right? But all of this is replaced by this. Okay, so you can see in my code, I'm grabbing random numbers. I am putting out like a little title here. I've got a result. And then I do use the concatenator here. You guys would not have to. Okay. But you know, that's kind of my orientation. Okay. But this is what you will see if you right click, and obviously the numbers are going to be different every time you run it. Okay, and this is just the addition one. So you're going to have one for addition, multiplication, modulus, subtraction, division, but all I did for all of that different stuff is basically I copied, right? I copied that. Okay, pasted, and then changed the math. Okay, so that's pretty much how I did it. And that is how you guys are going to want to do it too. Okay, so that's your first one. And I will fix that link for you. And for the second one, you're going to be working with data types. And so you're going to create a new file called data types. And you need to have at least 5 different variables. And you're going to populate them with different values. For integer, you can go ahead and use random numbers. For the decimal numbers or the real numbers, just take rand, divide it by like 0.55 or 0.33. You're going to pass the variables to a function that determines what the data type is. So you're going to be using the is functions. And I put is asterisk because we've got is int, is double, is string, you know, that whole family of functions. You're going to format the output using Bootstrap Carousel. So your carousel needs to have some kind of little graphic in there. And I do have a similar example. And if you right click on the example, you can download the code, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be broken until I fix it. Okay, so this is the example. This is not as much as you need to do, right? Because you have to do 5 variables and you need to check for different things. This is only doing 3 and it's checking 3 things. And it's not checking, it's not using the same is functions that you need to do, but you will get I think you'll have a pretty good idea when you look at the code, what you need to do on this. Okay. The buttons and that's all part of the interface. Yep, yep. And so the file I'm going to have you guys download has all of that in there. But you are going to have to change, you know, you have to have your 5, your own variables, and then the is functions are going to have to be different. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of what I did for the first value. So I'm checking if it's a string, if it's an integer, is it a double precision, is it a Boolean? Okay, that's what I'm checking. And so you can see it's recognizing it as an integer. And once I fix the link, you will be able to right click and download the code, and it is a PHP file. Okay. And you will have to find your own graphics for this. I'm not giving you the graphics. You can, you know, change the coloring to whatever you want. Okay, so the green is the success color. Hey, but you know, if you guys want to use danger or whatever, I don't care. Danger, warning, info, primary, doesn't matter to me what you guys use. Okay. So those 2 things are the assignment, and I am trying to help you out quite a bit on the second one, at least giving you kind of the layout that you need to use. And once you're done, you are going to be linking those into your assignment page. Okay. So rest of today, you guys are going to work on the assignment. You also have the full period on Wednesday to work on the assignment. And I don't think it's going to take all the class time to get it done. Okay. That is part of the reason I put the discussion on legal and ethical issues this week, because this is one of our learning outcomes and we have to cover it. In the past, you guys had to write a research paper. Yeah, and I know how much you guys love doing that. So I made it a discussion instead. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I've actually eliminated a lot of the research paper writing and opted for discussion instead. I mean, you still have to write in full sentences and you still have to, do the research. And basically, what this is going to be is you're going to write a post on legal and ethical issues of data sharing by analyzing database design or data availability or the individual's right to privacy. Pick one. Okay. It used to be you had to do all three. Yeah. But because we're posting to a discussion, I'm going to make you guys pick one. And then you can read each other's posts. And if you picked data availability, you can learn a little bit about design and the right to privacy, okay, by reading each other's, okay? So you're going to do the research, and at the bottom of your post, you should cite at least 3 different sources. Now, am I going to make you guys, do the official citation? If it's a web resource, just copy and paste the link, okay? If, you happen to read an article or it's a periodical or whatever, just tell me, the name of it, who wrote it, that kind of thing, okay? But for web resource, copy paste is good, okay? Summarize the issues in 1 to 2 paragraphs. So that does not mean that you guys need to write 5 pages, right? 1 to 2 paragraphs. Remember, your classmates are reading this. So, yeah, so kind of get to them in a nutshell what the points are. Indicate how you feel about the issue. So it's going to be a 1 to 2 paragraph summary, another paragraph how you feel about it, okay? And then you need to reply to at least 5 of your classmates. And that's so you can kind of learn from each other. So I'm sure each one of you will probably find one of these areas to be interesting. I think right to privacy is fascinating, especially when there are pictures of people online that they didn't put online. So, what the right to be forgotten is in there. Okay. There's all sorts of kind of side issues that are super interesting. Okay. So pick one of these. And we're talking 2 to 3 paragraphs tops, and then the response. Okay, so that is what we are working on this week. Remember, for the assignment, you guys are going to have to test in the test environment in order to see your errors. Okay, don't assume that you do it right. Test it first, and once it looks good in the test environment, you can throw it up on the web server. Okay, anybody have any questions? All right, rest of the time is left for you guys to work on this. If you feel like you need a little sugar boost, got candy up here for you.